Welcome to the not so blind battle of two Canadian single malt whiskies. I'm your host Sam, and this is Whiskey and SV. So today I'm bringing you this episode from my sister-in-law's office, which I've made into a makeshift studio for the day. And as you can see, we have a beautiful view of downtown Toronto behind us. We're right above the Sony Center at Yonge and Front. Um, so if you're from Toronto, or if not, you can enjoy the beautiful backdrop here where I try to review the only two Canadian single malt whiskies that I own. And I got these actually from Rob from Whiskey in the Six. And I'm very happy to have had some time to spend with them in the last couple of weeks. And I'd like to share my notes with you. So the first whiskey that I have here is the Two Brewers Yukon Single Malt Whiskey. It is a special finished single cask, bottled at 58% ABV. And just for clarity, I can show you the back of this as well. And maybe I should read that for you. So it says, the tale of two brewers. Take two lads in the Yukon, stick them on a canoe trip, and lo and behold, in 1997, a brewery was born. Now, making beer is a joyous thing, but in 2009, these two blokes decided to buy a still, apply their brewing know-how, and make whiskey. Whiskey made in small releases with a variety of malted and roasted grains using different fermentation techniques and a mix of barrels. The goal is that no two releases are the same, so that each expression emerges, it is layered and complex, and probably never to be repeated. Yeah, so this is it doesn't have like the peated thing marked on the back. It just has special releases. Apparently they have like different releases of that. So yeah, that's a really cool one. And then the second bottle I have here is the Shelter Point Smoke Point, and the Shelter Point Smoke Point is bottled at 50% ABV, and yeah, I think this is also a single barrel because it says 86. It says 86 out of 1 out of 500. Non-chill filter, natural color, so it's all the good specs that we like to see. And on the back of this, there's some information about it as well. I will read that to you as well. So it says, Smoky Skies and Peated Whiskey. Batch 2 of Shelter Point's only peat influences whiskey, the single grain Smoky Delight has been aged in American oak ex-Bourbon casks for 5 years and finished in cask previously used by an Islay distillery for 18 months. This whiskey is a union on malted and unmalted barley spirits, commingled in an American oak cask for 5 years. Subtle peat notes are from the ex-Islay cask, sweet, smoky, and complex. This one needs to be savored by open fire. Well, I don't have an open fire here, but I can still give you my notes. Okay, so I'm going to start by what I think is my favorite. And I've had some time to spend with these two whiskeys for the past couple of weeks. And as you can see, I've enjoyed them, and I've shared a little bit as well with the family. So yeah, let's start with the Two Brewers first. This is my favorite one by far. So this has a very, very fruity nose. I wish I had my Glencairn glasses. Unfortunately, in a rush to get here, I actually left my Glencairns at my parents' place. So these are probably more appropriate for other types of spirits, maybe not so much whiskeys. But so I'm going to cheat a bit and go by the notes that I had in my mind when I was drinking them during the week. Yeah, so this nose it's almost like a bourbon nose. In that it's actually like a lot of caramel and brown sugar and vanilla. So it's also very aromatic, and it just reminds me of like chocolate. And yeah, just the nose on this is truly excellent. Okay, so now let's see what it is on the palate. Okay, so the arrival on that is quite sweet, and all the vanilla and the kind of caramel notes come out. And then as it's developing, a slight metallic note starts to develop as well. And it's kind of unfortunate because I really think the nose on this is excellent. But when it comes to that metallic note, it somewhat ruins it. But I think even the palate is is able to really hold on to the those caramel, vanilla, and like fruity flavors in a good way. That despite the metallic notes, the sharp metallic notes, it's still pretty decent. Let me take another sip. Yeah, there's some pepper on the finish on that as well. Um, yeah, I think like the nose on this is definitely the part that I like the most about it, and the palate is probably the nose on this is like something like 9 out of 10 for me. The palate, if it wasn't for that metallic note, it could also be a 9. But yeah, I think I would probably duck a mark for it. It would be more like an 8. I really don't know what it is about these North American single malts. I get this in a lot of mm, let's say Westward and other American single malts that I've tried. Even some what is that Texas one, Balcones. Even in that, I get some sharp metallic notes that are just not enjoyable for me for some reason. But overall, I think this is a very decent attempt, and really makes me want to explore this distillery more. So yeah, let's try. Let's go for the other one. This one is actually really cool because the cork on it is actually glass, um, and it makes a weird noise when I take it off, but it just looks really cool. Okay, so let's see for the shelter point smoke points. Uh, the color is a bit lighter than the other one. Okay, so on the nose on this, there's definitely that Isla Pete character coming through, but it has all you can actually smell the sharp metallic notes in it as well. There are some slight herbal notes as well, but and malty notes. I'm not getting a lot of fruit. I remember I got some fruit, but it was just like still inundated by mostly that sharp, metallic notes, which unfortunately have not really gone away. And I don't think that goes away. And I don't know if it's something about my palate that picks up that sharp metallic note. But yeah, anyways. So I think the nose on this is probably like an 8 for me. Um, it's definitely intriguing, but that metallic note in there definitely makes me wary of where the palate's going to go. And indeed, I have tried it before, and the palate, does uh, follow through with that sharp metallic note. So let's try it on the palate again. Interesting. So I remember during the week it was definitely more metallic, and I didn't enjoy it as much. Okay, so that finish is actually like getting metallic again. So let me try again. Yeah, so the arrival is malty, quite malty indeed. There's some citrus notes, I would say like lime, um, and you start getting the earthy notes from the peat, and yeah, and as the peaty note is beginning to develop, suddenly there's this like metallic note. I feel like I'm like licking metal, and yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because it's just like it's quite sharp and acidic. It just like completely takes over, and then the aftertaste is just that metallic note in my mouth. So yeah, I have to say like I'm not a huge fan of this one. Yeah, for my palate, being sensitive to that metallic note, I definitely wouldn't be interested in trying a lot of this shelter point if they have all the same metallic note. I usually like Isla finish stuff, but yeah, in this case, I don't think it's able to get past that sharp metallic note. Let me try it one more time. Yeah, it also just tastes very young, to be honest. Yeah, and then bitter, metallic, acidic finish. I yeah, this is one that I'm not sure I would want to explore more if that's really what is to be expected from a lot of from this distillery. Going back to this, the two brewers, I love this nose. It's just vanilla caramel, um, fruity, aromatic nose. It's just an amazing nose, really. Okay, let me try this one more time as well. Yeah, just the right amount of, you know, vanilla, caramel, spices, um, fruity notes, um, just so aromatic, and it really manages to keep that metallic note at bay. So especially going back from this super metallic one to this one where it was less metallic notes, I think like this is something I'd like to explore more. Okay, well, I hope you found that informative. This is the first time I've done an episode where I just tried to review something off the cuff. And I think maybe I should do more of these. They're a little bit impromptu and maybe take less preparation. And if I'm really going to stick to the schedule of putting an episode out every week, I may need to do some more of these types of quick ones from, especially from, destination. But next week I'll be back into the studio, and you can expect probably another blind tasting from me. All right. Well, enjoy, and see you soon.